Today I've got some new porch decor ideas for you. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. The next is a cheese box. It's not what you think. Okay, so I've got my sanding tools, whatever I want to use. Some Java chalk paint, which is a very dark brown. A variety of little birdies I might want to use. These I usually get thrifted, and these are too. And then this moss that I got from Temu, I've had for quite a while. I'm getting to the end of it. Makes me very sad. I love it though. And this little cheese box. This one had a lid, but I, for the life of me, can't find it. And I thought, you know, this is the perfect size for what I want to do. We're going to use it. Look how splintery this is. You've got to be so careful on these things. I'm going to immediately sand this down. You can also use a sander, electric sander if you have one, but I want to do this to show you that it can be done even if you don't have power tools. So I'm going over the inside, the outside with the bigger block, all the bigger areas, and then for the smaller areas like where the pieces meet, I'll be using this. And I appreciate everybody directing me in the numbers of the sanding. You are very right, and I am very wrong. And I am willing to say that, yes, in a video, I did get the grit wrong, and I was very gently, so thank you for that, directed in the right direction with that. So 80 grit is very rough. 120, not so rough. Got it now. I got it, y'all. Thank you very much. I'm learning too. I'm not saying that I'm a pro here. I'm self-taught. And I appreciate when I am given constructive criticism, you know, because I would never be mean to anybody. So please don't be mean to me. Please. All right, so the inside is going to be Spanish moss, but everything else is going to be this dark brown color. I don't want my colors bleeding together, so I'm going to be sure that I am drying this completely before I put down my next color. So here's that Spanish moss. I'm going to put this all the way on this inside, and I'll be sure to get it snugged up next to that corner. With whatever brush you find easier to make a straight line, then you can use that just to give you a nice clean finish. But really, we're going to be doing some things on the inside of this box where you might not necessarily see if you're, you know, if you get a little bit on the edge. Then I'm going to dry it. This is just one coat. It's very thick. I love the green color. This is really a pretty green. So now I've got a variety of thrifted and purchased pieces here. I'm going to grab that moss and start putting down like a little ledge. Oh, no, we're making the bird's nest first. That's what we're doing. So I've just taken that under section that looks sort of woody and mossy and just rolled it onto itself and tucked it under to make a little bird's nest. It's got a little moss on the outside, you know, the green part, so it looks pretty much like a little nest would look. Pretty similar, right? And then I'm going to cut a section off to make a little slanted area here. We're going to make this not flat on the bottom of the box, but we're going to give it a little something different, because these little different things that we do make a difference in our projects and make them special, right? By all means, put it right in the bottom if you want to. Now this is a little bit of foam that came in some packaging for something that I bought. I don't know, I've had it for a while, but the fact that it's black is going to help it blend in, I think. And I'm just going to cut it on angles so that I can put it right to the side here to make a little bit of a ledge, almost like maybe it's on a hill. Then I'll add some hot glue. Now this will melt if you put too much. So if you're gonna need a bigger piece, then you know, you might want to use some mounting tape or something on there so you don't lose the sizing. See that big old bruise on the side of my hand? Y'all, I do not remember how I did that. I honestly do not remember, but it's healing now, but it looks bad, doesn't it? That's what happens when you're fair skinned. Every little bump and bruise shows up, so no worries, y'all, it's fine. I'm going to stretch that moss out just a little bit so that I can cover this area. And that's another thing that I like about the moss, is that it's so easy to put down. If you don't want to melt what is underneath there, you don't want to melt that, you can just use floral pens. That's, you know, pretty much what these pens are made for florals, for greenery, for whatever. It holds everything in place, right? So if this were hair, these are the bobby pins, right? y'all's mama use bobby pins in her hair? Did she put the little bun in her hair and put the bobby pins in it? Because my mama did, and she used those big old barrettes. They were big and curved, and they were like silver and not turquoise, what do you call it? Tortoiseshell, and then gold. Yeah, she wore those things, and she put little bobby pins in her hair. I love my mama. I love her. And she's up in heaven now, so she's watching my videos, and I bet she's enjoying them. Because she was always supportive, no matter what. She was always supportive of us. Okay, so now everything's pinned down, but you can use glue. You know, you can use mounting tape. You can use any type of regular glue if you want to use it. My projects are not made to sell. I use my projects for myself. So, and if I give them to anybody, they know. I tell them, look, it's as is, right? It's as is. So, the little pins, if you're bothered by that, you can cover that up with a little hot glue, because the hot glue can go on top of plastic and it's not going to be a problem. So it'll be fine on top of that. I just don't want to melt that foam, and it will melt if you put hot glue on it to some extent. Now I'm just choosing a place, since I've got my branch in there, I'm choosing a place for my little nest for my bird to sit. Now, taking into consideration that the bird I'm using is a little chubber, she's a little chubber, and she needs room to sit comfortably in her nest, right? By the way, I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm a little chubber too. So, I say it out of love. She's nice and round and fluffy. There you go. She's a fluffy girl. But and she may be a boy. I mean, that may be a boy. I don't know. But we're going to put our little, we need to make room for the bird, is what I was getting at, and I got very sidetracked. Thank you, antihistamines. Okay, now we're going to move on, and we're going to take some of this ferny looking stuff, and you can use a little bit of hot glue if you want your pieces to have a little more movement. And when I do these types of arrangement, I always like to have something hanging over the edge. I just think it looks more wild and interesting. So that's why I do that. Also, the greenery that you have, remember that remember that you can cut those off. They're on wire or they're plastic, so cut them into pieces if you need to. If it's too big for scale, but you like the colors maybe, or you like the texture, like I like these, just cut them into sections and use them. All right, so now I'll just be using some hot glue to hold this baby in place. And I'm going to cut down another pick, cut off some little pieces too, and then I'll put those around where I'm going to put her, and any other place that I feel like it needs to come out of the little area where he or she is nested. I always like to refer back to the piece that I have to put in there, because I want to make sure everything that needs to go behind it is there before I put that bigger piece in place. So I'll add a little bit more of that ferny looking stuff. Really don't know what this is. Really don't know, but I love the texture of it. It's pretty, isn't it? I'm curling some pieces down, and these are just plastic. The center has wire, but this is just plastic, so you get a lot of freedom and movement, but in order to keep it in place, you do have to use a little bit of glue. So I'm just kind of sticking things together here and there, and then we'll put this down. I am mini purling it today. We're going to leave the tag on. Nobody's going to see that. I'm going to just flood it with the glue here and sit it down right in that little nest. Now I'm also going to go underneath the tail and add some glue, and then right behind the bird where it sits, the body sits against the back of the box, I'll add glue there. And because I did that, hindsight, I have to re-glue my tail. And then I'll hold it in place for a moment, give it time to dry and that glue to cool off, so it is, staying where it needs to stay and nothing's flopping out. Then I'll just add some little random pieces that I had left, because why not? Why not? Let's use those pieces, right? Or either put it in your scrap bucket for later. Now there's right at the top of this box a little area that almost looks split, and that's the perfect place to hang it, so I don't have to add an additional hanger. And this is how it looks on my back porch with some natural lighting. I thought y'all might enjoy a little change. And I love the look of that. I think it is so precious. So perfectly woodland and country. So cute. Hope you like this piece. Come watch my videos on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. I'll see you in the comments.